evening. We'd like to welcome everyone to the Guthrie Public Schools Board of Education regular monthly meeting for Monday, June 14th, 2021. Roll call, please.
Salee.
Here.
Pearson.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Smedley.
Here.
Schroeder.
Here.
Flagg.
Here.
Bennett Johnson.
Here.
Madam President, we have a quorum.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Agenda item number 6, the seating of a new school board member. I, Gail Davis, hereby declare under oath that I will faithfully perform the duties of board member of Guthrie Public Schools to the best of my ability. And that I will faithfully discharge all the duties pertaining to said office. And obey the Constitution of the laws of the United States and Oklahoma. Okay. Yep, it's nice to have you back. Agenda item number 7, comments to the board by citizens registered to speak.
We have none.
Comments to the board by board members.
I would just like to thank you to the board and appreciate your vote of confidence in having me back. And I'm very humbled and thankful. Look forward to serving once again.
Agenda item number 8, superintendent's report.
It's rather lengthy, so bear with me. First thing, we had a tremendous evening for graduation on May 21st, and much thanks to the staff of Lazy Arena for their assistance and hospitality. I thought it was a great evening. I'm glad that we were able to have it without any weather delays and with full capacity. Our summer meal production is ramped up, and we're routinely serving between 150 to 220 breakfasts and lunches at the mobile locations, as well as the in-house meals that are being served at guests. And so that's a real positive for our community that we're, once again, we're standing in the gap. We are continuing to explore ways in which we can best use our COVID federal funds. Over the weekend, we were informed that the district has been approved for 2 school-based social workers, 1 secondary and 1 elementary. The cost of these positions will be shared equally between DHS and the district. That are regulated by the federal government. And it's the hope is to locate some of our missing students as well as informing current students of available resources they might qualify for within the state of Oklahoma. The social workers will be DHS employees that are dedicated solely to Guthrie Public Schools. And so that's a real positive, we think, that has developed as we made an application with DHS on that. We've also applied for a grant to fund additional counseling services for our students. That would not necessarily be counseling positions, but it might be contract services and things that for trauma-based students and things that are identified in those areas. And late today, I've been working on this report. It's been very fluid as the day's gone on, but I was informed that the case filed on behalf of 187 school districts, including Guthrie, against the Oklahoma State Board of Education was dismissed without prejudice at the request of the petitioners, which would have been the school districts that filed the case. This means the school districts do not waive the right to refile. That has been dismissed, and as the State Board of Ed rescinded their position on ad valorem monies going for charter schools, specifically virtual charter schools. The legislature provided some relief on that by diverting marijuana tax money toward the brick and mortar charter schools, but not virtual charter schools. Next is we haven't had a regular meeting since the close of the legislative session. I'm highly concerned about their efforts to rob school boards of their local control that happened in this session. We saw several items where they took the control from the school board and put it in the hands of law or in the hands of the State Board of Education. I find that in contrast to the basic principles of the party majority right now. And I am very concerned about that. And you can rest assured I have voiced my concerns to many in the state legislature. And a lot of this came at times where they would drop language into bills that were not originally designed for the bill and then quickly vote on. One of the ones that I sent out an email alert to you guys on, but it's still fluid, is Senate Bill 658. That bill started as a bill to provide basic rights that I think everyone would agree on for students with regard to COVID vaccines receiving a free and appropriate education. As the politics of that morphed and the authors began searching for ways to, in my opinion, pander to their constituents in their district, they quickly dropped some language in there that said that, previously masks were a decision of the local school. They dropped language in there and quickly voted on it that said you cannot require masks to be worn unless the governor declares an emergency. That sounds fine and good, and that's not a bad practice. But they failed to recognize the fact that until at least September 13th, we are required by federal mandate to require masks on school buses. I have been in contact with Superintendent Hoffmeister, our legislative delegation, the authors of the bill, and we still don't know what to do. And this law takes effect July 1st. And so simply waiting until September 13th for that mandate to expire, assuming that it will, is not really an option if we can't get some clarification. And I've been in contact with our attorney as well. Strangely enough, the only people that I have not heard back from are the actual authors of the bill, because they don't really want to have any conversation with me about it. So that's an example of taking local control away. They took it away from the local board and failed to recognize the circumstances of other things beyond their personal political agenda. That was my editorial, and that was my report.
Let's proceed to the consent agenda. All of the following items, those items are the routine dates that normally approved at the board meetings, will be approved by one vote unless any board member decides or desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and action on the following items as listed in the agenda.
I would recommend that we pull all A, B, and C, the minutes, because we have seated a new board member, but also on item A, the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 10th. Samantha has identified something that needs to be changed, and it is we needed a comma, and our board president's name needed another T on it. So we would recommend those changes and then throw that to the board.
So we'll move forward with the consent agenda, withdrawing items A, B, and C. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda, excluding item A, B, and C. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays. Or 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10A, recommendation, consideration, and action on renewal of financial advisor services agreement. Oh, we did that. Okay, sorry.
Madam President, make a motion that we approve consent agenda, item A, barring the changes.
Yes, I would recommend that we separate all three of them because of the absences.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Celine? Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Abstain.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Abstain.
4 ayes and 3 abstentions.
Agenda item 9B.
Madam President. Before I make a motion on B, the first sentence on 9B, the minutes, we need to change that to special meeting. Top item. But I will make a motion to approve agenda item 9B with that change.
Second. Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Abstain.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
6 ayes and 1 abstention.
Consent agenda item 9C.
Madam President, make a motion that we approve consent agenda item 9C.
Second. Roll call, please.
Pearson?
Yes.
Celine?
Yes.
Davis?
Abstain.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
6 ayes and 1 abstention.
Move to our business agenda. Item A, recommendation, consideration, and action upon review of financial advisor services agreement with Municipal Financial Finance Services, Inc. for 2021-2022.
This is our annual renewal with Municipal Financial Services regular approval.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the renewal of financial advisor services agreement with Municipal Finance Services, Inc. for 2021-2022.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10B, recommendation, consideration, and action upon the amendment to renew the agreement with Clearwater Enterprises for the purchase of third-party natural gas for 2021-2022.
This is our third-party natural gas provider. This these natural gas providers, with the extreme weather conditions that were present this year in, what was it? It seems like 12 months ago. We've kind of, as superintendents, we've kind of talked about the different providers. And one of the things that was a real challenge is they were required by law to have enough capacity to provide for all of their customers at load. And so when they were required to do that, they had to purchase natural gas at an incredibly inflated rate. Saying that to say this, of all of the providers that we have talked through with other school districts, Clearwater has proven to be the most reasonable and sensible in their charges. Natural gas, as we all know, was at quite a premium at that time. Unprecedented things that we saw. And when you look at, if you stretch this over time and look at the long game on the relationship that we had with this company, I think we are still money ahead to be associated with them, but we scrutinize this very carefully. I had our attorneys scrutinize this very carefully as well, and we went back and forth on some things with Clearwater. This was not just a rubber stamp renewal this year, without a doubt. Not that it ever is, but especially this year it was not. But I feel confident in recommending that we renew this contract.
Madam President, I'll make a motion to renew the agreement with Clearwater Enterprises for the purchase of third-party natural gas for 2021-2022.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have a discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10C, recommendation, consideration, action upon renewal agreement with Ms. Teresa Ewing to provide physical therapy services for 2021 to 2022.
This is page 131 of your packet. And, she has worked with us for a number of years, still very reasonable rate for services that we're required to provide.
Madam President, I move that we approve the renewal agreement with Teresa Ewing to provide physical therapy services for 2021-2022.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10D, recommendation, consideration, and action upon contract with Sodexo Inc. for 2021-2022 for child nutrition services.
This is page 134 of your packet. We are in the 5th year of this agreement with Sodexo. We will put that out for an RFP for next year. But recommend the annual approval with Sodexo.
Madam, we approve the contract with Sodexo Inc. in 2021-2022 for child nutrition services.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10E, recommendation, consideration, and action on temporary appropriations for 2021 to 2022 for the general fund, building fund, child nutrition fund, gifts and endowments fund, and insurance and casualty fund.
This is also this part. Recommend approval.
Madam President, I move we approve the temporary appropriations for 2021-2022 for the general fund, the building fund, child nutrition fund, gifts and endowments fund, and insurance casualty liability fund.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10F, recommendation, consideration, and action upon renewal of OSIG for property and general liability, fleet vehicle, and errors and omissions coverage for 2021-2022.
Interesting year with insurance. I think we've got almost $74,000 increase on our property insurance. One of the things that's a real challenge with school districts across the state is OSIG is really the only game in town. The other group has financial challenges. They have, and I think you remember that we have entertained the other pool in the past. I will say this, I was very pleased with the work that they did during our time with the ice storm. They were very responsive to me on the weekends, and you know, when they knew that we had an emergency and declared an emergency, they were very responsive. That being said, it's always a little bit concerning when there's not any competition. But right now, there's not anybody that wants to write insurance for schools, and so obviously. The recommendation is to approve this, and we will probably be having some discussion at the administrative level statewide about what could be done to potentially find some competition or at least some state relief on this. And that's an ongoing concern. But as of right now, that's our recommendation, is to renew the agreement with those two.
Have a motion?
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the renewal with OSIG for property general liability, fleet vehicle, and errors and omissions coverage for 2021-2022.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
Schroeder.
Yes.
Clyde.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10G, recommendation, consideration, and action upon renewal with OSAC for workers' compensation insurance coverage for 2021-2022.
This is page 157 of your packet. It went up a little bit, $15,000. That's $120,000 price tag. That's not without raising some eyebrows, and some of that is typically a general reflection of the claims that we've had, and we continue to try and address those, in a manner where we can work to lower our claims. So recommend.
Madam President, I recommend that we approve the renewal agreement with OSAC for workers' compensation insurance for coverage for 2021-2022.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
Schroeder.
Yes.
Clyde. Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10H, recommendation, consideration, and action upon renewal agreement with Aurora Learning Community Association for 2021-2022.
This ALCA has served as our database for our achievement and assessment of our students. They have served us well. Our staff enjoys working with them, and price has not gone up. We are staying at the same price, and they've been great to work with. Recommend approval.
Madam President, I'll make a motion to renew the agreement with ALCA for 2021-2020. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
Schroeder.
Yes.
Clyde.
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10I, recommendation, consideration, and action upon elementary student handbook 2021-2022.
Page 163 of your packet is the elementary student handbook that we bring to you for next school year's approval. There are only minimal changes with the change of board members that I believe we got a red line in that. And Carmen, is there any other?
No, just date, things like that. Everything else is the same.
Recommend approval. Ms. Walters, to answer questions if you have any.
I move we approve the elementary student handbook for 2021-22.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10J, recommendation, consideration, and action on the following appointments for 2021-2022. Michelle Chappell, purchasing agent. Randy Brown, numbers clerk. Jana Wanzer, treasurer. Anita Paul, assistant treasurer. Samantha Stewart, clerk of the board and minutes clerk. Gary Jarrett, deputy clerk of the board and deputy minutes clerk.
This is an annual item that we are required to ratify prior to July 1st. Recommend approval.
Madam President, I move we approve the appointments you just listed.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10K, recommendation, consideration, and action to approve a 4-year lease agreement with Image Works with District Copiers.
This is, I believe, the last year of this lease purchase. Is that correct, staff?
This is the 4th year.
Is it the last?
We have one more.
So we've had no, the complaint level, dissatisfaction level has been very low. I think our staff are very pleased with the work. So recommended that we re-ratify this lease purchase.
This list is a lease agreement.
So it's a renewal of a, yeah.
4th year.
As long as you put it in motion.
Madam President, I move to approve the renewal of the 4-year lease agreement with Village Work for District Copiers.
Second.
Motion and a second.
You said
Discussion.
You said lease purchase. So after this year, will they be ours? Or will we renew? Is that just a lease?
It's a
And
lease.
then we'll get new ones next year?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
They're done
I
after
didn't
4 years anyway.
Let's go.
And we're looking for somebody to follow along.
Any other discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Celine? Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10L, recommendation, consideration, and action to ratify the lease purchase financing agreement with Oklahoma LED project.
This is an item that I believe we are entering our last year on our LED lighting. So we're to conclusion of this lease agreement at the end of this year. Recommend approval. This project, while it may be difficult to quantify how much it saved in electricity, I can assure you it saved us a lot of labor and just changing the outfalls, things like that. Recommend approval.
Madam President, I make a motion to ratify the lease purchase financing agreement for Oklahoma LED project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Bennett Johnson,
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10N, discussion, consideration, and possible action to award the contract for Guthrie Junior High renovation project phase 2.
Page 206 of your packet is the tab sheet for those bids that we opened on Thursday. And you'll see the low bid is Lambert Construction. I'm familiar with the company. I have utilized their services in 2 prior districts. This will be the first time in a number of years that they have awarded a bid from Guthrie Public Schools. But I feel comfortable in recommending that we accept the low bid. This is on this project. It's about $100,000 below what our budget was.
Also, full disclosure, I've also worked with Handbook Construction in my experience at OSU.
Madam President, I move that we award the contract for the Guthrie Junior High renovation project phase 2 to Lambert Construction. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll please.
Celine,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Davis, excuse me,
Yes.
Smedley,
Yes.
Schroeder,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Bennett Johnson,
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10N, recommendation, consideration, and vote to implement the return to learn as submitted and to authorize the superintendent to make such modifications as may be necessary from time to time, provided that the material modifications shall be reviewed by the Board of Education at its next meeting.
We were intentional in that wording of that agenda language. That's very similar to what this board approved in August of last year. Page 207 is the red line version of what that plan we're presenting to you tonight. We've taken what we had at the conclusion of the school year, which was last modified in December, and we have changed it somewhat to reflect some new law, and also a little bit more about what we know now about COVID that we didn't going at the beginning of this whole odyssey. Also, one of the changes is, and the board is aware that on Woodjay Academy, our intention is to only offer that grade 7 through 12 next year. We offered it in grade 6 last year, did not have the success that we wanted to have. So, and obviously we feel like we're in a lot better shape now than we were certainly in August of last year as far as knowing what is in front of us. But that being said, I wanted to try to maintain the ability to make some decisions on the fly if necessary, and then come back with the board. And you guys, as we went through last year, you know that we made absolutely no changes since December. Would not anticipate that we would do that for this year. And this is a working document, but because of the deadline for application of ESSER 3 funds, we are required to have this document on file with the State Department of Education by June 27th. So that's why I'm bringing it to you tonight for approval.
I thought the planning process overall last year kept us in schools.
The thing that, when we look at what some of the other districts in the state were faced with versus how we handle it, I'm pretty proud of our community, and pretty proud of our staff for the way they hung in there and made it happen.
Madam President, I'll move to implement the Return to Learn plan as submitted and to authorize the superintendent to make such modifications as may be necessary from time to time, provided that any material modification shall be reviewed by the Board of Education at its next meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call please.
Celine,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Smedley,
Yes.
Schroeder,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Bennett Johnson,
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 10O, consideration and vote to approve the resolution pertaining to this district's $1.2 million general obligation building bonds, Series 2021, including fixing the amount of bonds to mature each year, fixing the time and place the bonds are to be sold, approving the preliminary official statement, and authorizing distribution of same, authorizing the clerk to give notice to said sale as required by law, and approving other matters as related to the issuance of bonds.
Mr. Wolf is here with us tonight. Page 216 is the document that I think we're reading first.
Good evening. I don't have a podium, so a couple quick points. This is our next series of bonds under the 2019 election authorization. This keeps you at our intent to keep at a target mill levy of 17 mills that we went to the voters with in 2019. We've not exceeded that 17 mills over the last 2 years. So our target is to be conservative and, like I said, try to reach that target of 17 mills. You have in front of you the actual document that authorizes us to set the sale. And this is a 2-year, 1 bullet bond. Goes out to 2023, 1 maturity, and then on our next series of bonds, bond sizes are going to start getting larger as we address the major projects within the election authorization. So I can talk today as I want. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have, but this is standard protocol. I'll be glad to answer anyone's questions that you may have in regards to this agenda item.
Out of curiosity, John, what have we been at the mill level? We're trying to keep it below 17. That's a.
Well, I actually looked at that. I want to make sure I give you the correct numbers because, as I stated, we're usually conservative in what we think the growth is. We actually, the mill levy last fall was at 16.58 mills for the sinking fund. And then the previous year's the very first year of the election authorization was 16.9 mills. And so we kept under that. And the focus even before that, we were looking at 15 mills. We never even reached 15 mills. We were close about 5 years ago at 14.93. So when we look at interest rates, when we look at growth and net assets valuation, we're conservative so that we don't have any surprises that push you over what you took the voters as your target. And you're not going to hit it right on, but hopefully we're conservative and we don't go over. But you never know what net assets valuation is going to do. And interest rates, fortunately for the district, stay low. We're going on a decade now, so hopefully that continues.
Certainly, net assets valuation growth has been our friend.
It has, and it's been a great positive for the district, for the community as a whole. So let's hope that continues in that direction.
Any other questions? Motion?
Madam President, I move that we approve the resolution pertaining to the district's $1.2 million general obligation building bonds, Series 2021, including fixing the amount of bonds to mature each year, fixing the time and place. The bonds are to be sold, approving the preliminary official statement, and authorizing distribution of same, authorizing the clerk to give notice of said sale as required by law, and approving other matters related to the issuance of bonds.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes and 0 nays.
Agenda item 10P, consider and vote to approve the contract with Bank First, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, to serve as registrar and paying agent on the district's $1.2 million general obligation bonds for Series 2021
this agreement's on page 221 of the board packet. Bank First has served as our paying agent for the last 2 or 3.
Probably 3 years at least.
And without any hiccups at all, recommend we continue to work with them because they've been a good partner with us.
Madam President, I move that we approve a contract with Bank First of Oklahoma City to serve as registrar and paying agent for the district's $1.2 million general obligation building bond series 2021.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes and 0 nays.
Agenda item 10Q, consider and vote to approve a contract with Hillborn and Whiteman, Tulsa, Oklahoma, to serve as bond counsel and disclosure counsel on the district's $1.2 million general obligation building bond series 2021.
Page 228 is that agreement to work with this law firm, and same firm that we worked with on our past, our recent bond issues as well. Recommend approval as they provide our counsel with representation.
Motion?
Madam President, I move to approve the contract with Guthrie and Whiteman, Tulsa, Oklahoma, to serve as bond counsel and disclosure counsel for the district's $1.2 million general obligation for the bond series 2021.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item number 11, proposed executive session for the purpose of discussing employment of personnel, FMLA request, resignation and separation from employment, and transfer of position requests, all set out in personnel reports, extra duty assignments as listed for 2021-2022, employment of support personnel as listed for 2021-2022, employment of career teacher as listed for 2021-2022, teacher negotiations for 2021-2022, periodic evaluation of Dr. Michael Simpson, superintendent of schools, disclosure of which information would violate the confidentiality requirements of state and/or federal, all pursuant to 25 Oklahoma statute, section 307B, 1, 2, and 7.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second to go into executive session. Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
item 12, vote on action to set out of the personnel reports.
Madam President, I would recommend that we approve the personnel report with one exception, and that is that we remove the name Chase Bradfield from that personnel report.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the personnel reports with the removal of Chase Bradfield from the reports.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item number 13, action upon recommendation of extra duty assignments for 2021-2022.
Madam President, I move that we approve the extra duty assignments for 2021-2022.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 14, action upon recommendation for employment of support personnel as listed on 2021-2022.
Madam President, I move that we approve the recommendation for the support, employment of the support personnel for the list for 2021-22.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 15, action upon recommendation for employment of career contract teacher as listed for 2021-2022.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the employment of career contract teacher as listed for 21-22.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Celine?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 16, recommendation, consideration, and action to accept any resignations offered since the posting of the agenda.
We have none.
Agenda item 17, discussion and possible action on new business not known about or could not have been reasonably foreseen at the time of the agenda posting.
We have none.
Agenda item number 18, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Madam President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second that motion.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Celine? Pearson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Smedley?
Yes.
Schroeder?
Yes.
Clyde?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.